everyone. So we have Manuka back, and I know I did a short video a while ago on Manuka, and that's coming right after this one, but I have learned so much more about Manuka and using it, and you're gonna hear me say it, it's truly one of my oils I would never be without. Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit more about it. The constituents are in the video coming up real soon, but I want to share with you more about what I've learned from Manuka, because of course we get it from New Zealand. So this is what people would call a budget-friendly Melissa. So those of you who've been around a while and know what Melissa does, Manuka is your more budget-friendly Melissa. Oh my gosh, does it work. Everything you would use Melissa for, you would use Manuka for. And so you know that, like, for example, this is what's crazy. We had these like beetles and things flying at me when we were getting ready to film and doing some of the other films. And wouldn't you know it, the minute I grabbed the Manuka bottle and just held the bottle, they disappeared. I am not kidding you. They disappeared. They were like I was going like this, doing some other of the videos, because they were dive bombing me. The Manuka just, I'm like, wow. And it's still sealed, see? It's still sealed, okay? So that gives you a clue. So if any one of those come in and leave something that you really is very painful, I would have no hesitation to get this on promptly, and I've had that happen. I came across some wasps' nests this week, and oh my gosh, let's just say it literally was this big and about that thick, and it was on the bottom of a grill. And so, wow, when I got near it, oh, wasps, and I got stung right up here. And so I just grabbed my Manuka, put it on, instantly, no pain, no redness, and phenomenal, no swelling. It was as if it never happened. So this is an oil that you want to have with you all the time. And those of you who know that are concerned about things like histamine responses, start playing around with your Manuka and kind of let us know what happens. The other thing that it's really good for is, you know, spring and fall. Achoo! Achoo! And oh, pressure and pressure and pressure. Absolutely great oil. The smell is deliciously divine and light, very light. But I would have no problem diffusing it and applying it everywhere, just not in the eyes, and don't dump it in the ears. It also has a really good amount of caryophyllene in. And for those of you who've followed me on beta-caryophyllene in other videos and copaiba oil, this has a really good amount in it, which you'll hear a little bit later. So Manuka is so powerful for when you get that unexpected puffiness or the body's natural response to an injury. That's how we get to say it now. And really helping reel that back in. Okay? The other thing that I love about this, it is a powerhouse, much like oregano, and I already mentioned Melissa and other oils, but it isn't so sharp on the edges, if you will. It isn't so aggressive on the skin. So it's very, very powerful like that, but it's gentler on the skin. So for those of us that like lemongrass and oregano and cinnamon irritate our skin, go to Manuka, try Manuka and see what happens. And you'll just really be pleasantly surprised with how Manuka works, okay? The other thing that I mentioned in another video, if you happen to watch any of the Thieves Cleaner or the foaming hand soap videos, you notice I mentioned things that when you're in a locker room or when you're in a gym or when you're somewhere and you're showering somewhere else and all of a sudden that you start to get a real itchy, burning, hot irritation between your toes, on your feet, in your private areas, things like that, okay? Or we're coming into school season now, and you know those things, they're small, about the size of a nickel, I suppose. They show up on the skin, okay? And it goes around school all the time. I would have absolutely no problem using Manuka on any of those areas, even in your most private, delicate areas, because it does not cause the heat up. Oh my gosh, there's a huge fire down below type response. But you get results. You get results. The other thing that Manuka is really got a good claim to fame for, okay, is that when, say that I have a cut or I ran into something a couple days ago and I took a nice little chunk out of my leg, okay? I would have absolutely no problem putting this directly on location, Manuka, directly on location. And one of the things that I noted, because Manuka is known for its cytophyletic response, which speeds up new cell growth quickly, but what I did note is there's like no appearance at all that I even had that chunk taken out of my flesh. No appearance, none whatsoever. You couldn't even tell it happened in just a few days. So I hope you understand what I'm saying here. So I've been playing around with it on some old areas where I still have, oh yeah, I remember how I got that, okay? Or I remember how I got this here, okay, from when they took the bones out. And I just have a tiny, tiny thin line right now. You can barely see it. But I'm going to start playing around with putting it there. And let's see if it completely, I forget about it after a while because, oh, where did it go? It was there somewhere, okay? The other thing that people use it a lot for is a natural deodorant. Lots and lots and lots of stories, especially body odors and excessive sweat and things like that. Truly, just take the Manuka, put it in your hand, and just rub it right under the arms and any other areas where you feel like you're not smelling really good and fresh. Because not only does it work as a deodorant, it also shifts so that you actually smell good. It doesn't just mask the odor, it changes it because of how it digests the action that's causing you to smell in the first place. And then the other thing that Manuka is really good for, there's so many, I can keep listing on and on and on and on. By the way, I want to thank New Zealand for having this available for us, okay? Because that's where it comes from. You know, people who, when things happen, they hold it in their body, and perhaps this starts beating faster, and this goes up, and this is like, oh my gosh, what's happening, and all of that, okay? And you need to sit down, and things are like short of breath, and all those responses. This is one of the most powerful things you can use. Get it on the throat, get it under the nose, get it on the back of the head, get it on your wrists, and watch how it literally starts to ramp down from that out of control situation that sometimes happens because we've had some tough stuff happen. Sometimes it is literally out of nowhere and it just shows up because we have a trigger in our cellular memory and we're coming along fine, and then all of a sudden we start noticing we can't breathe real well, and we're short of breath, and our thoughts are starting to go crazy with us and all that. Keep Manuka with you. See what happens. Maybe mix it with some orange oil, or mix it with some sacred frankincense. Manuka and sacred frankincense, or Manuka and stress away. I think you're going to have some fun with that. So these are just some additional fun ways to use your Manuka. Safe for cats, okay? And it is safe for birds as well. They sit on the Manuka tree and the Manuka, and they actually eat the leaves in New Zealand. They wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't safe, okay? So, safe for infants. I think you're going to love Young Living's Manuka oil. Please watch the next video. You're going to learn a whole lot more of things that you're going to be glad you did. Our next oil, oh boy, here we come, Manuka. Manuka. So, Manuka. It's like, what? We don't hear very much about Manuka. Well, let's talk about what's in it. It's quite a complex oil, but its action is divine. So it's leptospermone at 15 to 19%. Then it has transcalamine in at 12 to 16%. It has a flavasone in at 2 to 8%. It has isoleptospermone in at 4 to 7%. It has alpha-copain in at 3 to 6%. It has cadena 3.5 and dein 3 to 7%. And it has alpha-salinine at 2 to 5%. You're like, what language did you just speak, Cherie? So that is Manuka. Manuka is actually a cousin to Manuka oil, and it comes from the myrtle family. So when we talk about Manuka, let's just say that it's considered a warmer, richer cousin to Melaleuca. So the fragrance is very delightful. When you smell it, it's like, oh, that's amazing. Everything for the skin you can imagine. Just anything at all for the skin, just wherever, whatever you have going on with your skin, I put it on. The other thing that's really cool is about, you know, I don't know if you notice that sometimes in some situations, you know, you might just notice that certain things would like be bothering you. You know what I mean by that? And well, if you notice that if that ever shows up in anyone you know or your family, okay, well, I would put Manuka right on the scalp. Absolutely, I'd put Manuka right on the scalp. And I would do it twice. I would do it immediately when you're done shampooing your hair. And then I would also put it on at bedtime, work it in really well, and let it dry. So there's Manuka, okay? It's pretty awesome. And if you don't have like Young Living toothpaste and you're out of thieves, go ahead and just put a little bit of Manuka on your finger and or on your toothbrush. Have some fun.